we have Nicole Harvey, a local attorney in town, and she's also the facilitator of 3 Degrees here of Northern Nevada. So please give a huge welcome to an amazing woman, Nicole Harvey. And Avery.
I love Nicole Harvey.
Thank you, I love you too.
Oh, Philip's here.
Well, today the California Supreme Court determined that Proposition 8 should be upheld and that California's GLBT citizens are not equal to its straight citizens when they go to the county clerk's office to apply for a wedding license. Yesterday, the governor of this battle-born state vetoed SB 283, a bill that would have created a domestic partnership registry. Such a registry would have allowed unmarried couples to register together and receive many of the rights and responsibilities pertinent to marriage. The governor vetoed this bill because, as he said just a couple weeks ago, he just doesn't believe in it. What is it that Givens doesn't believe in? Does he not believe that we should have the responsibility to make our own decisions for our own families? Does he not believe that our children are as deserving of the protections afforded by law as the children of straight citizens? The governor's official statement on the veto includes a patronizing message that the rights that would have been extended by the Domestic Partnership Registry are, quote, readily available today by private contract. I know something about these private contracts. These private contracts are not an alternative to domestic partnership, and they're not an alternative to marriage. Private contracts are only a very expensive effort we resort to protect our partners and our children in a world that won't accept our families as real families. We have come to this place of higher education, of higher learning, and higher ideals, to remind Nevada of the urgency of now. Now is not the time to rationalize this injustice or to make excuses for lawmakers who are too concerned about re-election to make a stand for equality. Now is the time for us to stand together. Now is the time for us to make real the promise of our democracy. Now is the time for us to step out of our dark closets and onto the sunlit road to marriage equality. Now is the time for us, our GLBT community, to lift our state and our nation from the quicksands of hate and homophobia and onto the solid bedrock of understanding and brotherhood. It would be fatal for our state to overlook the urgency of this moment. Our legitimate discontent will not pass until Nevada's GLBT families are equal to Nevada's straight families. This 2009 legislative session is not an end, but a beginning. And those who think that these rallies are all we need to blow off steam and be content with the world will have a rude awakening if Nevada returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in Nevada until every citizen has equal access to marriage. But as we push forward in our efforts to bring equality to our fair state, we must remember the warning of Dr. Martin Luther King. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. This fresh fervor, which engulfed our community a year ago, must not lead us to distrust of others, for many of our straight brothers and sisters, as evidenced by their presence here tonight, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. And they have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound up with our freedom. We cannot do this alone. This march towards equality has left us at times grief-stricken, sorrowful, and angry. But we cannot wallow in those depths of despair. And so even though we face enormous obstacles and difficulties in the months and years ahead, I still imagine and hope and work for a better tomorrow. Someday, my devoted and faithful wife will be my wife wherever we go, in whatever jurisdiction we happen to be passing through. And someday my daughter will be my daughter without the decree of some court making it so. And someday, every American will read the words on the side of the United States Supreme Court building, "Equal justice under law," with new meaning. If America is to live up to its promise, it must afford equality to all its citizens. There must be equality not only in Massachusetts and in Connecticut, not only in Iowa and Vermont and Maine, it must be in every state, for every person. But what can we do? As you stand here tonight, what efforts can you engage in to make this happen for ourselves and for our families? It is simple, and it is hard. It is the everyday activism that Harvey Milk talked about when he admonished his supporters. You must come out. You must come out to your parents. I know it is hard, and I know it may hurt them. But think about how they can hurt you in the voting booth. You must come out to your relatives. You must come out to your friends, if indeed they are your friends. You must come out to your neighbors, to your fellow workers, to the people where you work, who work where you eat and shop. For their sake, for your sake, and for the sake of the youngsters who are becoming scared by the votes of their fellow citizens, their legislators, and here in Nevada, by their governor. Be out. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of your partner and your children, and of the families we make, not just our immediate families, but this family here tonight. We will not rest, and we will not yield until every one of us and all our children have equal justice under the law. Thank you.